Have a think. Think of something that you've done that you wish you could go back in time and change. An accident, or just something that left you feeling a right fool. Wouldn't it be great to go back and put it right? You can't. None of us can. The same can apply to people who take ecstasy. Because even though you might suffer no immediate after effects and feel you had a good time, it can cause permanent damage to your internal organs. Like your liver. The liver acts as your body's washing machine. It gets rid of most of the toxic rubbish flying round inside you. Pretty handy, really. If your liver gets heavily damaged, it doesn't work properly, so it's under loads of strain. In the end, it just packs up, collapses, simple as that. Ecstasy can also have a toxic effect on your brain. Liver and brain damage are usually irreversible. There's no going back. For help and advice, call the drug line. You can also ask for a free leaflet. Calls are free and confidential. The drug line, 0800 77 66 00.
Just sit back and close your eyes for a second. Now think of your worst nightmare. Something so horrible it sends your heart racing and makes you break out in a cold sweat. Imagine it rushing towards you, laughing at you, and you can't get away. Now open your eyes and imagine that your nightmare is still there. Well, that's what could happen if you'd taken one of the most powerful mind-altering drugs. A dose no bigger than the head of a pin would be enough to make you see things in your mind and believe they were real, no matter how horrible or frightening. If you were already feeling anxious or worried, this could be really dangerous. Who knows what it could make you do? In the last 40 seconds or so, you've just discovered how you could react to LSD. If you'd just taken an LSD tab, or acid, trips, whatever you want to call it, the nightmare could last another 12 hours. And because all tabs look the same, you'll never know just how big a dose you're taking. For a free leaflet, call the drug line. Calls are free and confidential. They won't show up on itemised bills. The drug line, 0800 77 66 00.
Imagine taking a big deep breath and holding it a minute or so. You'd inhale roughly 3 litres of air, only about a fifth of it oxygen. Your brain needs that oxygen to survive. At first you'd feel okay. After 3 minutes though, you'd probably go unconscious. After 5, there's a good chance you could get brain damage. Of course you'd breathe out long before that. But imagine you couldn't, no matter how hard you tried. Imagine your heart beating so hard it feels like it'll jump out of your chest and your head feels ready to explode. Imagine the panic as you realise you can't breathe. Well, if you ever try sniffing aerosols, glues or gases, you might not have to imagine. Inhaling aerosols can actually cause your windpipe to swell up, making it very difficult to breathe. Every week, 2 under-16s die from solvent abuse, and a third of the deaths are among people trying it for the first time. For a free leaflet, call the drug line. Calls are free and confidential. They won't show up on itemised bills. The drug line, 0800 77 66 00.
How did you react to that? Some of you will have found it really disgusting. Some of you will have laughed out loud. Some will have sniggered and some not even noticed. That's the thing, you see. We all react differently to things. That's what makes us individuals. You may not have got it yet, but what I'm actually on about is drugs. Because we're all so different, the way that we react to drugs is unpredictable. Some people may have a good time, others may get nothing more serious than a headache. The same drug could give someone else breathing difficulties, panic attacks or depression. In the long term, it could damage the liver and brain. Some people could even overheat so much they'd feel they were literally boiling to death. For the facts about drugs and solvents, call the drug line on 0800 77 66 00 and get a free copy of Drugs and Solvents Things You Should Know. Calls are free and completely confidential. They won't show up on itemised bills. The drug line, 0800 77 66 00.
Imagine you'd taken the radio to the warmest room in the house, turned the fire on full, put on a few thick jumpers, a hat, some scarves, wrapped yourself in a duvet and started dancing. Imagine doing that all night long. You'd sweat pints. Dancing all night might sound like fun, but if you'd taken ecstasy, after only 6 hours you could have sweated 6 pints. This would send your body temperature through the roof, causing you to overheat and become severely dehydrated. The extra pressure this would put on your internal organs could be lethal. You could feel as if you were boiling to death. It would only be a matter of time before your kidneys failed, and from then on it would get worse, until, well, you can work it out for yourself. Ecstasy shuts down your body's heating control systems, so all this can happen without you even realising. For a free leaflet, call the drug line. Calls are free and confidential. They won't show up on itemised bills. The drug line, 0800 77 66 00.
You're talking about a friend and you're just about to slag them off, and then doubt pops into your head. Will they find out? Will they ever talk to me again? What if they hate me? Will all my friends disown me? You're listening to doubt. If you smoke cannabis, would you know if it could affect your memory? Or would you have doubts? Are you sure you're sure?
For any information or confidential advice about drugs, call the National Drugs Helpline on 0800 7766 00.
Your alarm goes off. You roll over and just think you'll go back to sleep when doubt pops into your head. Will someone notice if I just bunk off school? Will I get caught? Will my teacher really freak out at me? You're listening to doubt. If you took drugs, would you know if they could cause permanent damage, or would you have doubts? Are you sure you're sure?
For any information or confidential advice about drugs, call the National Drugs Helpline on 0800 77 66 00.
On Saturday, 1st December, we went around the clubs of London and asked people one question. What do you know about ecstasy?
Yeah, I think he's all right.
I'm meant to get quite high, but the come down's meant to be pretty bad.
So long as it gets me off my head, I don't care what's in it.
The pills aren't 100% MDMA. They're cut with any kind of drugs.
As long as you drink a lot with it, you're all right.
People get obsessed with drinking water and then get into trouble because there's too much inside them.
A lot of people say a lot of things about ecstasy, but we know the facts. So if you aren't sure about ecstasy's long-term effects on memory loss or have any questions about drugs, then call the National Drugs Helpline on 0800 77 66 00.
One night, Saturday the 17th of November. One place, Canal Street, Manchester. One question, what do you know about cocaine?
What it does is speed everything up.
It seems like one of those weird drugs I've just never got into that just seems, I don't know, just soulless, really.
It just makes you feel more confident.
It can make people really boring and annoying. It can make some people aggressive.
I don't think it has any long-term effects.
My mate hasn't had any for a year and he still gets paranoid.
A lot of people say a lot of things about cocaine, but we know the facts. So if you're wondering how it causes anxiety or paranoia, or have any questions about drugs, then call the National Drugs Helpline on 0800 77 66 00.
One night, Saturday, 8th December. One place, Brighton Seafront. One question, what do you know about drugs?
It can make you touchy, very feely. You feel like dancing, you feel like hugging.
You know, if people do it, it's up to them, isn't it? But I've seen a lot of messy people.
These days, they don't cost too much.
My mate ended up robbing off me for a habit.
As long as I'm all right from Mondays, I don't care. I felt on edge for 5 days once. I just couldn't sleep. It was a nightmare.
A lot of people say a lot of things about drugs, but we know the facts. So if you're asking yourself how drugs can cause problems like long-term depression or have any questions about drugs, then call the National Drugs Helpline on 0800 77 66 00.